do shorter captions, don't use hashtags, just post pictures of yourself, do only reels. Like anytime I do that, and I stray away from like what I really want to do, what I know like has worked for me, like things don't work as well.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Shane Sam Show. Excited to be here because I've had like an earworm or a mind worm in my head for months because I saw my guest today give a presentation and I talked to her at this event that I was speaking at, and she was telling me how she gets people to buy her stuff. And my mind has been exploding ever since I met her. Everybody, welcome Kim Heintz to the show. Hi, Kim. How are you?
Oh, good. Glad to be here. How are you?
You're like my Instagram role model right now, like to try to learn how to do Instagram. And and it's how like we always worry about like our public persona and like what we're putting in our bio and what we're posting every day. And it's like, do people like it? Do they not like it? Am I really gonna say this? Am I not gonna say that? I love that I go to your Instagram and at the top it just says constipation. Like, I mean, if you could build a business with constipation in your bio, then this anyone can build a business on Instagram. So tell everybody what you do first, and then we'll talk about the business stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I'm a functional health specialist, primarily specializing in gut health and gut health related illnesses. I run functional labs to help uncover the underlying root cause of people's health issues. And so I'm looking at their gut and their nutrient deficiencies and hormones and toxin exposure like mold and stuff like that. And then I help them address those imbalances by supplementation, diet, lifestyle strategies, like all natural methods, and get them their vitality back and get them, feeling great again.
And what got you into that? Like, it seems like it was your own personal experience. Was it your background? Like, what happened with that?
Yeah, I had chronic migraines for 25 years. So starting at a pretty young age. And actually, as I got into my 20s, they got even worse. I was getting them like 3 to 5 times a week until I was 28. I actually had a migraine that lasted an entire year.
Whoa,
And
like every minute of every day, it just never stopped?
yeah,
How did you live? Did you just fight through it, or did you just lay on a couch in the dark? Like, that's crazy.
yeah, I did work. I worked somewhat remote sometimes. And when I was in the office, I was wearing sunglasses to, shield myself because I have light sensitivity. I spent a lot
Wow.
of time in doctor's offices, taking
Oh
a lot
my
of
gosh.
medications. Yeah.
Yeah. So you basically did all the medical science stuff, went to doctors, heard all the, we don't know, or this will work, or this won't work. And you just did you have to find your own solution, research it your own, or was there like someone in your life that brought in a solution and an answer for you?
Yeah. Ultimately, yeah, I did all the conventional medicine stuff, had scans of my brain and everything, and I was taking several different medications to just help manage the migraines. Um, Eventually I did meet someone who does what I do, and I worked with her, and my migraines went back down to like, 3 to 5 times a week, at that point. And within 4 to 6 weeks of working with her, I went down to like one migraine a week. And within a couple months, I was getting like one or two a month. And within 6, 7 months, I stopped getting them. And it's been 7.5 years since I've had a migraine.
And all of this was because of your gut health, basically? Like, it was basically like what was happening with like what you were eating, or just like your normal body chemistry, or like, but the gut health is what was making the headaches and the migraines happen, basically.
Yeah, that was a huge underlying cause. I had a few other things going on too, which, I uncovered through the testing that I do. But my gut, I had very, very minimal gut issues per se,
Wow.
but it was at the root of everything that I had going on.
That's crazy. My wife and I were just talking about this the other day, because you know how like sometimes you know how sometimes you'll get nervous or anxious and you just don't know why. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the other day I was like, I just had this weird anxiety. You know what I'm saying? And of course your brain and your mind goes to like your to-do list and your kids, and am I forgetting something? And then did I do something all the things that we do, right? And then finally my wife just goes, "Have you drank water today?" And I was like, "No." I was like, and then like just that little simple go get a glass of water, like everything just kind of calmed down. And it was like I guess my water and my electrolytes and everything were kind of jacked up. But we forget like how quickly everything inside of us can get unbalanced by all the crap we put into ourselves like on a daily basis. What was that when you
Yeah.
found this gut health thing? Was it like was it changes in the way you ate, or like the probiotics, or like the medicines you were taking? Like what was we're going to go on a tangent down to the health thing because this is fascinating.
Sure.
But it's like just what was that, and then we'll figure out how you started coaching people. Like what was it about your gut health and like these labs and stuff that like revealed to you that something was wrong?
Yeah, it was a mix of things, and as far as like how I addressed it, just like you said, it was a myriad of things. It's never just one thing. So I did, make some adjustments to my diet. I did take some supplementation that was very targeted based on what I had going on. I implemented some core lifestyle strategies, detoxification strategies that were very simple. It's just I wasn't aware of them. We're not really educated on these things, and so
Sure.
I was addressing, I had some back overgrowths in my gut. I had some severe nutrient imbalances. I actually had some very low depletions and some crazy high excesses as well, and some hormonal imbalances. And so I just slowly like peeled back the layers on all of those things. And as I did that, like, you brought up the anxiety thing. That's like a communication to your body that something's out of whack. And so as I put things back in whack, if you will, like the communication from my body with the migraines, started to go
We
away.
all need to put ourselves back into whack for every once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I heard something interesting in my own mental health journey. Um, a person that I was working with said something interesting to me one time that like anxiety only happens with things that you care about, and it's your nervous system and your mind like an alert. It's an
Mhm.
alarm that something you care about is out of whack, right?
Yeah.
And then depression is your body's way to shut you down, maybe even like a migraine or something like that. Maybe it's your body shutting you down because it's trying to scream to you something is out of balance, and it
Mhm.
just wants you to like address it. And like when you think about it that way, like these things that hurt us like a migraine or anxiety or depression, they're just cues like, oh, this is my body telling me something's wrong, and now we have to explore and address it and find the root cause of it. So as you
Yeah.
researched all this, you built up this vast like wealth of knowledge, and you're
Mhm.
like what was the leap to helping other people do this? Like what was the was it just like you met someone that had a migraine and you're like, oh, I used to have migraines? Or like I'm always fascinated by how people get sucked into coaching because it's usually an amazing journey.
Yeah, I always knew I wanted to do something and help people. It's just like who I am as a person, and I was like so like blown away by how quickly my life changed by the things that I was doing to support myself that I felt like I have to be an avenue for other people to have this same kind of success because so many people are suffering. I was talking to so many people who were like dealing with a variety of health issues and their doctor was just throwing more medications at them and they weren't getting any better. And so, as it just I wanted to do that, like, it was a deep calling within me to be able to share this, and
Mm,
I felt like almost I was being selfish if I wasn't starting to get myself out there and share this with other people, and so I did go and get certified to allow myself to run the labs, and I said to myself, "You know what? If I never work with another person, but I can help myself and help family and friends and stuff like that, fantastic."
that's
It came
incredible.
it didn't come from a place of, like, wanting to necessarily build a business initially, but then when I saw what it could do, like, I started to put myself out there more.
Yeah, that's very similar to how we started our first like entrepreneurial endeavor online business. My wife was a librarian, and she would go online and look for lesson plans for librarians. And like you can find history lesson plans, you can find math lesson plans, but there was nothing. Not even the big companies were making like lesson plans for libraries, like especially elementary school libraries, because they
Mm,
when you're an elementary librarian, you start with kindergarten period 1 and probably end with up to 6th grade. That's a vastly different experience, like hour to hour, and you're preparing for each group of kids. And when we discovered online business, we were kind of brainstorming things we could do, And she was like, well, wait a minute. Well, I couldn't find anything out there for librarians. So I just spent a year in the classroom myself making these lesson plans. What if I put these in a database where people could go get daily lessons and download them and they could use them for various grades? And the similarity in your story was I remember my wife saying, worst case scenario, I'll never have to plan a lesson again because I'll have all mine done forever for every because it's
Yeah.
not going to change much. And that actually became kind of our marketing speak or our headline call to action is librarians would land there and it would say never plan a lesson again. So like she was like, I'm good for 30 years until I retire, or people will buy this. And thank God people bought it because that started our entrepreneurial journey. So when you started out, did you just start posting on Instagram to kind of get the word out on these things? Was there a strategy to it? Like how did the Instagram become the thing that it's become from your marketing?
Yeah, I actually tried paid ads first because I was working corporate, so I thought that was gonna be a little bit faster of an avenue for me and email marketing, and there just it something just didn't feel right. It didn't feel like a connection just because, like, when you're working with, like, a cold lead, it's just a lot. I just wasn't building relationships, and I didn't really wanna do a Facebook group or anything, so I was like, "Where's a really great place for me to build a community and be able to, like, share the knowledge that I have?" And I thought, "Well, Instagram's awesome." I follow some accounts on there that are, posting infographics, which is, like, a primary thing that I post in addition to reels, and thought, "You know what? I can just start sharing stuff on there." So I announced it to my personal Instagram, like, "Hey, I started this health account. If you're interested, come follow me." So I got 30 followers
Hell, that's what I'm talking
and
about. 30 followers. That's a classroom right there.
exactly, this
You're like,
30 friends.
imagine 30 people in the room you're in right now. That's a big deal. People don't
It
realize
is.
that. That is a big deal.
Yeah, especially when you think about it, like, in terms of people, because yeah, 30 people's a lot in a single room. So it's pretty cool, and I did like a 12 it was right before Christmas, so I did like a 12 days of health tips type of thing and, like, offered people if they commented, I would put their name into a raffle, and every time they commented, I would, put their name in, and they would get a free test with me. And they started sharing it with their friends, and I think by the end of the 12 days, I had several hundred followers, which was pretty cool.
When you say sharing on Instagram, like, were they tagging people or something? Because you can't really, can you? Yeah, I know you can share they were just like copying the link and like sending it
There's
to
a share.
people.
There's a share, like, you can share, like, on your, story, or
Oh, I see. That's right. That's right. That's right.
yeah, or they were tagging friends in this, like, "Hey, you need to check out this content, it's really
You can
cool,"
tell
like
how much I know about Instagram. You're like, no, Shane, what are you talking about? There's literally a share button right there. I'm a podcaster. I have no clue what I'm doing if I'm not writing an email. Okay,
it's
that's
a
just like
little just a little arrow. Next time you look at your Instagram account, there's a little arrow.
I will start preparing very much. All right, so you just start sharing your information. You get your first 12 posts, and you're commenting. You're just doing things to create some engagement on this thing right now,
Yep.
and then eventually and like when I'm looking at your Instagram right now, like you share your Instagram looks very different than a lot of people's that I see, which is interesting because most people are like, I ate pizza, I'm a real person, like whatever it is, right? But you're like sharing legit information. Hold on, let me show this on for the YouTube viewers at home here. The like right here, can you see that? Yeah,
Yep.
like you share these really detailed, like these cool looking posts with like words on them. Like you've got a before and after picture, and then it's got like four bullets under each. One says like 3.5 migraines a week for 15 years, 7 medications, doing my best. Then the after picture is 0 migraines, no medications, and then this one is like 25 symptoms of acid reflux, and it's a infographic, like it's a full blown like chart. Like these are insanely informative posts. Is that what you were doing in the beginning when you were building your stuff out, or were you just posting like pictures and tips and things like that? Where did the infographic strategy for Instagram come from?
That was an early idea because there were a few infographic ideas or accounts that I followed, and I wanted to create that. I just didn't really have any design skills.
Yeah.
So
I've been in online marketing for a long time, and I've studied a lot of social media just like for ideas and stuff. I've seen infographics, but not on Instagram. Like this is why your page caught my eye so much. I was like, whoa, she's building this like this. She's really like delivering some massive value here. So you saw someone else doing this and thought, I want to do that. And do you start making these? Do you hire someone to make them? Like, how did that come about?
I made them. I made them all on Canva. It's a free graphic design software that you can like pay like $12 a month or whatever to
It's
get.
like the best software on the planet. Like
It's
I
pretty
don't know,
awesome.
understand how it's only $12 a month for all it does. So you
Yeah.
started making infographics, and these kind of people started really getting into them, commenting on them. Like, did you see like, whoa, this is kind of catching fire here a little bit?
Yeah, I tested some different things out. I did try working with an agency to help me, and stuff like that too. But like ultimately, I kept coming back to like what I wanted because like they were trying to drive me in different directions, and I just kept coming back to the infographics. And I studied hashtags and like how you can use hashtags powerfully. People say that hashtags are dead. I disagree with that because my hashtags still get a lot of I look at my insights and I still get a lot of growth from my hashtags.
Hmm.
But I studied the right way to use hashtags in my content versus, just throwing a bunch of random hashtags like, health, hashtag health. Like I don't like you I use stuff that's very specific to what I'm talking about in the post. Took me a long time to develop a list of hashtags that like I felt were working and studied them, but that was huge for like getting some attention. And so that's where it started to like really grow,
Yeah.
just testing different things out. And then, I had like, if you go back, like you scroll back through my account for the last couple of years, you'll notice the design kept changing. And there was a lot of inconsistencies. And I feel like in the January, February is when I decided to like really hone in on like what a visual would look like. I
Yeah.
hired some people to try some stuff out and I just didn't really like I needed to design it for myself. Like I kept hiring it out and it just kept failing. And so I finally was like, I'm gonna figure this out myself. Researched a ton of content, just landed on a design strategy that I thought would really work
Yeah.
for myself and just started being very consistent with that. And now like you have this cohesive look and feel. Like if you see my post pop up, you're gonna recognize the brand
Sure.
because of.
Yeah, I can tell the way I would describe it is it's like there's a sweeping left to right feel in the way you use. I'm colorblind, but I think this is blue. Is that
Yeah,
blue? Like yeah,
yeah.
that's blue. Like I can sort of guess what colors are, but I get my kids quiz me all the time. Like the question I get every morning when I get in the car is, "What color's my shirt, Dad?" And like they still think it's hilarious since they were born. But
Yeah.
like it's like this. It's got like a, you know how like in an Excel spreadsheet when you like will do every other row, like I feel it makes me want to read left to right down your feed almost like it's a book or something,
Oh,
you
that's
know?
cool.
Yeah, so I can totally see the consistency with everything kind of like if this pops up ever in my feed again, I'm gonna be like, oh, it's Kim. That's her. Like you can totally see that. I did learn something cool today. I'll share with you. I was on another podcast this morning with a guy who's like really revolutionizing prompting and AI,
Mhm.
and he was talking about how it's like once you get a look and feel of something like an image, he did this with his book cover for his new book. You can take the pictures and put them into Chat GPT, and then you can tell Chat GPT, all right, I want you to assume the persona of my avatar. Here's my avatar, and you can start telling it all the avatar and things like that. And then you can say, now critique my design as the avatar. What stands out? What caught
Oh,
your eye? What doesn't catch your eye? What improvements could I make? And you can actually because it can take your whole customer profile, use its vast array of data that it has, and actually look at it like, oh, I'm her avatar. I really like the signs you need more magnesium. But if you had highlighted signs you and more, I might have. It'll tell you ideas
oh,
to kind of like dial in with your actual avatar to make pictures like this do it. And you can drop the picture in, and it'll even give you like examples of how to change it and make the images and stuff for you to give you more ideas. But anyway,
wow.
but like this, but yours are really amazing anyway. But it's like it's cool to be able to do that. Like he uploaded his whole book, and he had Chat GPT. He went through his book and was like, "Now tell me as the avatar where you didn't like the book, what I left
Oh,
out, how you figured that out." And it actually helped him rewrite parts of his book to make it
Wild.
more meaningful to the person he was trying to talk to. And I'm like, that's got to be useful for social media posts. It has
Oh,
to
yeah.
be. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So you do these infographics and you got this down there. Now, but it sounds like in the beginning, it was like a lot of entrepreneurs, kind of we're being strategic. We're trying to get, engagement. We're building an audience. We're posting these things. And then were you selling coaching from the very beginning? And was it high ticket coaching? Like you're like a higher price like you're doing now, basically.
Yeah, I was selling, coaching before I even started Instagram.
Okay.
I did a mix of high ticket and I tried some low ticket stuff, but I kept coming back to high ticket.
Yeah, for sure. So like you got so okay, so we got this high ticket product. We have this social media strategy, which is just laser focused on Instagram, maybe some repurposing, but you're really focused on Instagram.
Correct.
Where did the DM marketing come from? Where did you figure out, like you tried cold traffic? I'm also not a fan of cold traffic. I hate ads because I get bad customers every time I run ads, it seems like. But
Mhm.
like but like when did you realize, oh, I can build a relationship beyond the comment box and I can call to action them. I can get them to like come into the slide into your DMs. Like how did you start getting people to slide into your DMs to start like building that relationship? What was the call to actions that got people from looking at a post to actually like reaching out to you?
Yeah, I actually have both inbound and outbound strategies. So I'll start with like having people slide into my DMs. Like I always put a call to action on the bottom of every single caption at the end of any single carousel. There's always a call to action so people expect it. Whether it's just save this, share this, comment how many symptoms you have below, or if you're interested in learning more about testing, because the post usually led to talk about testing and how it could help them uncover their issues and solve their issues. Comment gut test below or comment gut health below. Or I did a lot of like, I've got a free gut healing guide. Are you interested? If you're interested in having my 10 simple tips to addressing your gut health today, comment gut guide below. And so a lot
Mm.
of these people, I actually removed the extra steps from like telling them to message me. Instead, I would have them comment on the post, which helps my engagement on the post, first of all. And then I'm going in, I'm commenting back, and then I'm sent and saying, "Hey, I just sent you the guide." And then they're checking their DMs. And from there, you know,
Oh.
I'm offering them this gift and that they've asked for. And then we can start having an organic conversation. I always wanted a place of community on my Instagram. I wanted to treat it like, I want people to know that I'm a real person. And so, out of care, concern, and curiosity, I would just start to ask them, what are your biggest health challenges right now? And we would just start to have a dialogue. And, we would just,
So you're sliding into their DMs
from
based
them
on
asking.
exactly. It's permission though. It's like you're
Yeah.
saying like, "Hey, comment if you're interested in learning more." Whatever the engagement is, that you get the engagement. You can then have a filter of, well, these 10 people engaged. So, oh, but these 3 people are like, "I really want to know more about this. Hit me up," or something like that. And then outbound, you're like, "Hey, you're commenting too to generate even more conversation like, "Hey, thanks for commenting. I'll send you the PDF or whatever it is."
Yeah.
And then you're actually going to them. And
Correct.
once you connect with them in the DM in an outbound way, just and that takes seconds on every post. How many times do you post? Do you post like once a day or
Yeah. I do like 5 posts a week,
okay, so Monday through Friday kind of deal.
basically. Yeah.
Yep. So basically you'll post like let me look at one of these posts. Let's just do this in real time. So I'm going to pull up this last post. This is a before and after picture, and this is the one I read earlier about talking to 3.5 migraines, 0 migraines, 6 years. And it's like, hey, I went from multiple health issues in my 20s to being not to being at the top of my game in my 40s. I remember vividly. You read down, and then at the bottom of this post, you write kind of long posts too. Like it's really like informative. You know what I'm saying?
I do. I go against what all the recommendations are to have short captions. People read my captions, so I just keep going with
Hey,
it.
uh, one of the most profound things I ever learned as an online marketer was from Frank Kern. And Frank Kern said people were like, because he writes insanely long text based sales pages. Like if you've ever seen a Frank Kern sales page, it's a novel and it's
Yeah, it
black
is.
and white with like 2 pictures maybe or a video at the top. And he said, I'm pretty sure it was Frank Kern. They said, who in the world would read a sales page, like all that copy, that long form copy? And he just said, people who buy things. And I thought, I will never not write long copy ever again. Right. Like I was like, that is the most, what a perfect response to that. And I have found that that's true. Like my longer emails always get the click, man. When I just like, hey, just Shane here checking, I got something for you, click. Nobody does anything. But when I write an absolute novel that has nothing to do with what I'm even talking about at the end of it, I'm like, all right, well, if you're interested, click this link. And they do. It seems
Yeah.
like every single time. So then these people that comment down here, like I'm looking in the comments, like you have a ton of comments. When, oh, like it says, amazing share, awesome stuff. I want to learn more. Like these people, you're looking through the comments then to find the people who might be like super interested. So you're not really even, there's no filter. A lot of people say do a tripwire or some kind of filter. And when you only talk to the people that give you money because they're going to give you more money. But you're like, no, find the people with the problem who raise their hand to learn more. And then you are initiating the conversation with I'm sure a lot of people message you too. And sometimes you can even use that as a call out. But
Yeah.
but you're finding both work in that situation to find customers.
Yeah, I'm trying to maximize the conversation's always a two-way street. So I'm trying to maximize like and letting people know like, hey, I'm a real person behind this account. I want to help you. And no, there's no tripwire. No one's paying me like a low amount to have the conversation. Because the thing is like what I have found is that I may have a conversation with someone right now is not the right time for them. I'm not a good fit for them right now. I either refer them to somebody else and they get the help they need because my whole primary goal is for people to feel better. Or, 6 months later, I hear back from them and they say, hey, like, I really want to talk to you about how you can help me now. Like, I'm ready to talk. And so, like, and I remember these people. I remember these conversations. I've got like over 12,000 followers and like I've connected with every follower or will be connecting with them if I haven't yet. And so, like, I
Like
remember
when
the
people follow
conversation.
you, do you send them a message like, hey, thanks for following me and stuff? Like
I
you are
do.
literally, wow, that's really that's big time. That's super
Yeah.
that does not exist in the modern world because everyone's trying to automate everything and get out of any relationship. Even though it only takes a second, like you wake up, 5 people followed you, you just send them all a message and say, hey, thanks for following me. It's like super simple, super easy, keeps you involved, like keeps you engaged.
I do.
Yeah.
I thank them for taking the time to follow me, and I let them know I've got tons of great content that, if they haven't yet, look around my page. Like, kinda like if you were to walk into a store and you've got, like, the person who greets you, you walk into I know furniture stores are really, like, second you walk in, you got somebody walking up to you saying, "Hey, like, welcome to the store. We've got, these couches are on sale," or whatever. It's kinda like the same thing where, like, I just want people to know that, like, I'm a real person. I wanna help you. I have free resources. I've got tons of free content. And, if the conversation turns organic at some point where you want some help, we'll go down that path too. And so the journey looks a little bit different for every person I talk to. But, you know, I, you bring up the whole automation thing and like I have ManyChat, which is a DM automation software. I have worked on setting it up and I've turned it on a couple of times and I'm like, it just doesn't feel right yet. I'm not everyone's like, you need to automate. It's gonna save you so much time. And like I get it to a point, but I'm just not quite ready yet
Yeah.
because I admit I want to have a real connection, a real conversation with people. So
Man, if everyone would do this, it would be better. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I definitely think there's places for automation. I'm not gonna
sure,
I automate things. There's email autoresponders, things like that, like to make
sure.
sure people get into your stuff. And there's a place for this. Like if most people can't figure out how to build a business because they're trying to automate too early. They're not having these conversations with people. And this feels almost too like I don't know what your team looks like. Maybe we could talk about that later, but like this feels almost like if you were going to systemize this, you would have someone totally dedicated to the thing that was a real human being bought into your philosophy that worked for you,
Yeah.
not just ManyChat. Or maybe ManyChat could come later in some way, but I don't know if you can even do that with ManyChat because it just takes over as soon as someone sends a message with a keyword.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it would be cool to see like that would be an on brand Kim thing. Like, hey, I'm Kim. This is my page. this is Cindy. Cindy used my method. She's awesome. And she's in the pet. You can ask her anything you could ask me and it would totally be cool. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That would be
Mhm.
a way to automate that without having to automate it, basically. So when you, okay, I'm really geeking out about this because this is something we've always thought like, how can we build bigger relationships? Because we sell my primary, I mean, I do a lot of different coaching and speaking and all the stuff that you've seen me do. But like the main thing we do is we sell membership communities. Like that's what me and my wife actually became known for, was building online membership communities, lower ticket, $50 to $200 a month kind of deal. This is flawless for that. I don't know why we've never thought about doing that, because if Shane and Jocelyn, the brand, are really engaging with people online and they really want to go to the next level, that's even something that you don't even need sales calls for, something at that price point. It's just like
Right.
going back and forth. So it's almost like you've made a way to have sales calls without having sales calls right away or something like that, because you're
Yeah.
just like in the DMs, like you're just having real, I mean, it's, and what do you, how much time does it take you to talk on these DMs? You just have like a couple hour part of the day, you check all the messages and stuff. Like, what do you do with that?
Yeah, I check it 3 times a day. Um, I check it earlier in the day, like early like when I'm like logging in. It's kind of one of my morning routine things is to kind of
It's like
check
your
in on
coffee task,
messages.
pour a cup of
Yeah.
coffee and kind of do that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And then I usually do it sometime around the noon hour. And then I usually check in sometime at night, as I'm like winding down or I'm just kind of like hanging out and I just want to check in to make sure I don't have any unread messages. Because I don't want to let a conversation go too long.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't take super long, maybe an hour at the most, maybe 2, depending on like how many DMs I have and like how the conversation's going. But like, I think right before like it's 2 o'clock my time right now. Like I was in there for 20 minutes, like over lunch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like an hour and a half ago. And I'm keeping the conversations going, making sure people are feeling heard and listened to. But, it's not like you know, taking out a huge chunk of my day.
And also too, like we are so freaking spoiled as entrepreneurs in the real world. Like people don't remember like what work actually used to be. It's like, oh man, but I don't want to spend an hour a day checking DMs. You're already you're scrolling endlessly, mindlessly through Instagram already, and like that's your job, is to talk to humans through DMs on Instagram. Like, come on, people, that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing,
Well, and
And like,
it's
go
great
ahead.
market research too. Like it's amazing. Like I had someone who the other day said something about, acid reflux is debilitating. And I was like, oh, I'm actually doing a post on acid reflux, a couple of posts on acid reflux this week, the one that's actually on my page right now. And I was like, I'm gonna use the word debilitating. Like, so it's like
Oh yeah.
you're learning from these people in addition to helping them.
Yeah. And like and like, you said you had 12,000 followers. It's like, it's not like you had to go out and build a million person following to create a thriving coaching business in your field. It's like, no, you
Right.
just had to go out, build a strong audience that's engaged and paying attention, and you keep their attention through conversation and through awesome content, right?
Right.
And then once they have those conversations, then do you pull them off to a sales call? Like, where do they go from the DM? Like, what's the point there? This is specifically for higher ticket coaching. And for higher ticket, anybody listening, because that means a lot to a lot of people, we'll just say over 5K or whatever, 3K and up. That's what we're doing
Okay.
here for a sales call. So like, what would you just ask them? Like, hey, let's jump on a call. Do you send them a booking link, or like what happens there?
Yeah, I will book them on a call. So I use the DM to qualify them, make sure that I'm the right person to help them and stuff like that. That sometimes objections already are coming up in the DMs. And so once I've said, hey, like I think this is a great person for us to talk to, we've kind of both agreed that hey, this is I want to learn more about testing. I want to learn more how I can fix my health. I will say, yeah, let's get on a call. And instead of sending them a booking link, because again, it takes them, it's like it's another barrier to entry because I got to click the link and it's got to take them outside of Instagram. I offer them days and times that work. And so I
Oh,
actually manually schedule it most of the time. I do have a booking link in my like links area of Instagram that they let you have, but like most of the time I'm organically booking these
I
calls.
think that's smart, man. We've done a lot of, we do booking links for the podcast and stuff, but like that even feels more real. I mean, and it also takes it's like book a meeting in a meeting. Have you ever heard that before? Like if you're in a meeting with someone and you have to meet again, book it right there, because if
Right.
you don't, it's going to get lost in the inbox. Somebody's going to open the page, not do it. The kid runs in, knocks over a glass of milk, and and then you're looking up going, "Bro, I sent you a booking link. Why didn't you click on it?" When it's really just, "Can you talk to me Tuesday at 2?"
Right.
Like a normal human, right? And then they get on the call. And I love the fact that, like, cold traffic into book a call is I I know it works. I hate the funnel because you don't know what you're getting into when you walk into those calls.
Right.
But like you're literally already kind of like filtering a little bit. And I bet this process has gotten better as you've DM'd more people. Like you're literally like, oh, you actually have a problem I can solve. You actually are motivated to do this. Do you ask qualifying questions about finances or anything like that? Do you reveal the price before the call?
Sometimes.
Um, yeah, just it just depends on where that lead goes, basically, with the conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes I do. I also have a form that they fill out, while we're waiting for the booking so I can get some more information from them, and I do have qualifying questions about cost there as well, and then if I say, "Hey, I don't have any money, my finances are month to month," I'll actually reach back out and say, "Hey, like, I saw that your finances are month to month, like, and I'll have a conversation with them before we get on the call so that if, like, they're like, "Oh, I only have, like, $200 to do this," and I'll be like, "Hey, like, this probably I don't wanna waste your time." So, I already have that relationship built with them, so it's a lot more comfortable to have those conversations,
Yeah.
about those types of things, and so, yeah, I mean, if somebody
Because
asks.
everybody's scared to share the price before the call.
Yeah,
Every salesperson I talk to, their nightmare is like, "Don't tell them what it costs till you get them sold." And I'm like, "Why? That makes
yeah,
no sense. Like, what if they need to know?" You know what I'm saying? Like, if they ask, you're just gonna like someone sent me there was a cold outreach I got the other day on email. Everybody complains about, "Come on my podcast and this would be a great guest for your show," and all these cold emails we get all the time. I kind of like them because I'm like, this is sales copy. I'm going to go study this. Right. So I'm seeing if anybody catches my eye. And like this person sent me one the other day and they had a very compelling, like, we will get you booked on podcasts, which I've used services like that before. This was total cold outreach, but it was very compelling, nice list of people that they gotten. And I just said, but I emailed him back and I said, I'll bite. How much does it cost? And I got back the email. Well, we customize this individually for every
right.
single client. We're gonna have to see your needs, see how we can serve you. And I just wrote him back, and I was like, "You just struck out, bro. Should have told me the price. I can pay it, and I probably would have, but you didn't ask." So he lost the sale because of his right thing to do and not telling me the price before he got me on the call.
Yeah, I'm
Wasted
with
all of
you.
his marketing.
I'm with you. I if people ask, I'll get it is a range because it depends on the labs because I do pay for the labs
Oh,
out
for
of the
sure.
they pay. So I give them like a ballpark and say, hey, it like may shift based on the conversation we have if we need to remove or add labs. But I've tested out both ways and done just kind of analyzed it, and I don't. It doesn't. If it deters people from getting on a call, then their time isn't wasted, and
Yeah.
I give them some resources. If they're like, "All right, cool, thanks for letting me know. I'm going to figure out my finances. Let's get on a call." Like that happens all the time too. So it really,
Yeah.
I don't really think it's made a difference.
Yeah. And I also think there's the ick factor. Like, you got to make sure things don't make you feel ick, you
Yeah,
know? And I think that sales and marketing, it depends on the context, but like it's mostly like, do I feel good about this? And did I really just plant a seed that might grow later? Like, I'm always like, I believe everyone will always give me money eventually, as long as
yeah,
I don't screw it up. Like, right? If they need me and it's the right time and it's the right fit, then they'll pay what I want them to pay. So why not
mm,
just, and if you're feeling icky and hiding and using all these tactics and stuff, I'm like, that doesn't feel true to like what I actually want to do with my
same,
business. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you
same.
can't do that. How did the sales calls look then? Do you just get I mean, are they like 30 minutes? Do you script? Do you just have a nice conversation with them to see their needs? Like, is it more organic?
Yeah, it's a 45-minute call, and we
Wow,
just.
that's a long sales call. Like, you're
Mhm.
like committed to talking to this person for real if you're going 45 minutes.
Yeah, unfortunately, people have some really complex health journeys, and I want to give them, and most of them don't feel like they've been heard. They've been gaslit by a lot of other practitioners, and they need space to be able to share their story, and I want to make sure that like I feel like I can help them. And so we do dive deep into their health. And whether or not they end up signing up with me, I've had people email me and say, like, thank you so much for just taking the time to listen to me. And like, I've hopefully have made their life better in one way or another. Just because like I just showed care, concern, and curiosity during the time together.
You should call them care. What did you say? Care, cure, and curiosity, or something like that. You should. We have a care and curiosity. Book a care and curiosity call. Like that's what you should call it. Like book it. Like it's not a sales call. It's not a call to see if we're a good fit for each other. Like, would you like to book a care and curiosity call? And people will be like, wait, what? What are you talking about? That sounds amazing. I wish someone cared and was curious about my life. Oh my gosh, this is totally different than what I'm talking about. Very cool. So then once you close, so then you just close the sale, and then you just coach them through your program, and then off to the races
Yeah.
that you go.
Yep.
It's so simple. It just sounds too simple, right? It's like be a real human, post great content, actually engage with your audience, talk to them in the DMs, do it yourself because if you care about your people, that's what you do. Have a real, not a sales call, but a call where you're like, let's get to the bottom of like what's going on here, and and you. I love that you're making sure you can help them, because most people are just, give me your money and I'll sell you my stuff, right? And then it's just, and then that just feeds the machine, because then these people probably become some of your best posters and commenters. I'm sure the people you work with continue to follow you and continue to comment on your stuff and
Yep.
build that social proof into it, and off it goes. Man, this is awesome. You should teach this. Like seriously, like I know I told you that in Chicago, but like it really was fascinating to see you present it. And then you and I talked for a little while off to the side about just different things that we both did. And I was like, we had just started where I first heard of DM marketing. I mean, I've heard of it, but like I started studying it was on LinkedIn. And this doesn't feel like it's that much different, right? Like Instagram's content's a little different than what a LinkedIn content post would be. But do you just use Instagram, or do you use other things too?
Yeah, I'm just Instagram.
One product, one social media channel, and you literally so you kind of treat Instagram like a podcast or like a YouTube channel. It's like your content syndication channel, basically. Like
Yeah.
you're actually, it's content. It's not just share your content on social media. You literally are an Instagrammer who happens to sell coaching through the DMs, and you don't do all this other rigmarole and put stuff everywhere. And do you post anywhere else or just Instagram?
Just Instagram. I
That is
want
remarkable. Oh my gosh, Kip. That is like, because everything we teach and hear and everything is always like post everywhere, share, you're missing clients. You're like, nope, this is my jam. This is where
I
I am.
I have a goal and a desire to do that. It's just I really wanted to dial this in before I start to expand in other areas. And I feel like I feel like still I could do more on Instagram than I'm doing, honestly. And so I wanted to get that machine systemized and figured out where I could like write a script of like how the whole process happens before I try to expand into other areas. Because, if you're a jack of all trades, you're a master of none, right? And so I
Yeah,
really wanted Instagram to be like the thing I mastered before I started to expand. I have goals to do other things. It's just I haven't gotten there yet.
that's okay. Don't listen to anybody. You just keep crushing what you're doing right now and
I
just making it
mostly
better.
don't.
Yeah, yeah. Don't listen to anyone else. Just listen. Yeah, I know. We have mutual friends and coaches, but I'm just saying you can listen to them on some things, but not on that. Just keep.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is not broken. Do not fix
I've
it.
I have found every time I try to listen to somebody, I like, do shorter captions, don't use hashtags, just post pictures of yourself, do only reels. Like anytime I do that, like, and I stray away from like what I really want to do and what I know like has worked for me, like things don't work as well. So I've
Yeah.
learned to just kind of cut out all the noise and focus on what I do.
Every other voice is only telling you what works for them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like, of course, test and measure, but at the same time, it ain't broke. Don't fix it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? What's the process? Like, it's very simple. It's let's say one post a day, weekdays, right? But that's still a lot of work. Like these are really super detailed. Like this one post, Like, even though it's like a Canva post, like food swaps for a healthier gut, and you've got like conventional peanut butter, organic almond butter, and you like this. I've made images in Canva my whole career. This takes time, like especially this grid, struggling to heal 20 reasons you're struggling to heal your gut. Somebody had to make that table and like post these things, right? Like, how do you, what's the process there? And like, how do you plan this out like 90 days ahead and you go make all the stuff and then you schedule them? Or like what's how do you get the content to flow? So because this does take time. I mean, you're
Yeah.
messaging people and you're talking to people, you're doing sales calls, then you're also fulfilling, for your coaching program. But like, how does this work? Like, how do you get all this stuff out there?
Yeah. I research. I see, yeah, I research other trends that other people are posting, content topics that I think would be valuable. So that's help like gives me an idea bank. I try to plan a 2 weeks in advance, not 90 days.
There you go.
I
Oh, I said 90 days out of my rear end. I've
yeah.
never, I don't know what I'm emailing my list tomorrow. What are you talking
Yeah.
about? I have no idea.
I try really hard to at least like be a couple days ahead, but as an entrepreneur, we got a million things going on. So it is what it is. But I at least know what I'm posting for the week at the start of the week. Usually know what I'm posting next week. And then I've got content blocked out, our calendar time blocked out. And I go on D&D, do not disturb, and I just crank out the content. Um, there's a lot of research that goes into some of these topics too, because they're health based, right? And so
Sure.
I, have to create like a brainstorm and kind of put my content together, much like you would a blog. I think of these almost as like mini blogs. And then I write the caption. And as I'm writing the caption, I get like a brainstorm of like what the visual is going to look like. And so I storyboard that out. And I have a virtual assistant who does now create my visuals for me. I basically just say I've got like a whole template library. So if you scroll through my Instagram, I do have like some similarities of posts, like styles.
Sure.
And and so I'll be like, hey, we're gonna use template 22 for this one. Here's the content for it. This is what the title is. So she does the actual work most of the time of putting it together. Then I review and make tweaks, and then I'll post it. So that's basically the post in a nutshell. I have like a whole tracking system set up in Notion where I like track to make sure that like, the outline's done, the caption's done, the visuals done, what the call to action is. Like I have a whole visual of that so that I can, make sure I'm staying ahead of
Yeah.
things.
Do you schedule them or do you just post them daily? Does the VA post them? Do you just schedule them? You post them yourself or what do you do with
I
that?
either post them or I schedule them. So
Yeah.
usually like sometimes I'm scheduling them like today's post I scheduled at 9 o'clock this morning, and I posted at like 12:30. So
Yeah.
like I'm usually not post scheduling too far in advance.
So I've always been a kind of just a post when it's ready kind of person. Like even with our podcast, like a lot of people will say, you have to post on every Tuesday at 9 p.m. or no one will ever know that you're. No, you don't. They get a notification. They're subscribed. Like, what are you talking about? Like, just
Yeah.
release a show if it's done this week. I mean, we aim for Wednesday or whatever, but like, it's like if you don't get it, if it comes out on Tuesday or if it comes out at 9 a.m. or 9 p.m., like whatever, just launch your
Most
show.
most people aren't paying attention.
Yeah, and the algorithm is going to decide when your people see it anyway. It's not
Right.
like in any of that's actually going to happen. But marketers, online entrepreneurs always think that they're way smarter than anybody else, including the computer that runs our life. Like, have you watched your YouTube Shorts feed? It knows you better than you know yourself. I hate to tell you that, people. Yeah. So you just kind of just like, I love your style, man. We're cut from the same cloth. It's just like, yeah, let's get it done, post it, share it. We missed one, whatever. Do it Thursday. Wednesday didn't have a post. Let's just keep going.
Yeah, like
Or
yeah, and there's a day where I'm just like the day is over and I just don't feel like posting that day because I don't want to engage or I don't have time to engage. Then it's going out tomorrow. That's fine.
yeah, going on vacation, schedule some stuff every once in a while, and don't even worry about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is rad, man. It's really I knew I had to talk to you about this because I know this like anyone who wants to I when I was sitting there, like I spoke earlier in the day and you came up and did your thing and I was watching this and I was like, people don't know this because they're reading all those people that are telling you to put one sentences in and your thumbnail's all that matters and this is all that matters and that's all that matters. But like you're just on the ground doing something That is super remarkable. And it's not like this is 90 hours a week of work, right?
Right.
Like I heard Brendan Bouchard say one time that he was talking it was at an event, and he was saying that like he basically said, just post your own damn Instagram account. That's what he said. He goes, why are you hiring out you? That doesn't make sense. You can automate and hire out and delegate a ton of other stuff in your business to make your life easier, but you're eating lunch. Post the picture, right? Like that's basically what he said. And like you've kind of taken that to the next level of, well, I'm already creating content. I'll just create it in the social media place where I get my audience from, and there we go. The only thing that would scare me, and this is probably just old school thinking, an argument for expansion, I guess, would
Yeah.
be like, what happens if the Instagram account gets shut down? You know what I'm saying? Like, how are you
Yeah.
building an email list of any kind or giving away freebies to have some kind of customer database or asset on the side that you could revert to if you needed to go somewhere else?
Yeah, I took a break from that for a bit, and I'm re-engaging that now for that exact reason because, yeah, your Instagram account could be hacked or the algorithm like, there was a period of time where, like, engagement was just, like, non-existent, and so all the creators were like, "Oh my gosh, like, Instagram's
Yeah.
dying." Um,
Algorithm
I don't
randomly just freezes your page for no reason. That happened to me. I had a US history Facebook page, and it was a page, not a group. I grew it to 11,000 history teachers, and that was the key source of. We had a membership. We created another website for history lesson plans, and I logged in one day and it was gone, and I was
Oh
like,
my
wait, what?
gosh.
Where did it go? What happened? I finally got it to come back on, but then like all of my this is 5 years ago. It's not right now, but like then like I couldn't like assign moderators, and I couldn't add admin to it. Like all the features were shut off. And to
Oh,
this
wow.
day, I'm the only one that can post on it, and I don't know what happened there. But that's what
Yeah,
terrifies me with being all in on one thing. You know what I'm
same.
saying? Yeah.
Yeah. My goal was to spend 6 to 8 months, like, fully all in on Instagram. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
been on Instagram for a few years now, but, like, I committed at the start of this year. This was my goal was just to, like, become an expert on Instagram and really dial this in. I was already doing some of this stuff, but, like, whatever. And I feel like I finally gotten there. So, like,
Yeah.
that's what the rest of this year is focused on is, like, kind of starting, like, getting the email list going again and, like, getting
Yeah.
outside of just Instagram so that if something like that happens,
Yeah, and that's just a risk bucket. That's what I call those. Is like
exactly.
whenever you're looking at anything, like everything we do has risk of something bad going wrong with it, right? So it's just what's acceptable. Is this bucket full of risk Legos willing? Is that what I'm willing to accept for now, basically? And all you really need to do is just like just occasionally. It's the email list is all you need because if you
Right.
have you don't have to go to another platform even. It's just like, can I capture as many of these people in my own little newsletter or something to where if I log in one day and, a Nigerian scammer is offering people $10,000 on my Instagram feed because I got hacked, right? Can I email my people and say, we're going to go over here now
Yeah.
because I can't log back in, right?
Right.
So, like that, you just need that customer list or that kind of, and I bet your
Exactly.
people would sign up for every PDF that you have. If you ever like, hey, get the free PDF. That's a ManyChat thing to just grow your email list. If you ever
Right.
get
That's
you have one message in ManyChat. That's it. It's just give me your name and email, and then everything else is you, right? It's just like,
exactly.
hey, here's this freebie. Get on my email list. All right, this is really Kim this time. That's all you got
Yeah.
to do.
That's
Well,
the
this was
plan.
really cool, man. This is super cool. Thank you for coming on here because, like, I know that social media marketing is a Pandora's box for most people, including myself. And I knew you would have great insights in this and be able to share that. And it's awesome. And if anyone wants to find you online and maybe they've got some migraines, maybe they need 22 natural ways to relieve constipation. Maybe they just need some gut health help and some labs. Like, how do they get in touch with you and how do they contact you?
Yeah, obviously come hang out with me on Instagram where I'm pretty active. My handle is just at Kim.Heintz, so Heintz. And then also you can find me on my website, which is just KimHeintz.com.
Even that is brilliant because like I always never know what to say at the end of like when I get interviewed for a podcast, but you're just like go to my Instagram at this. Bam. And now you're following and you're in the funnel. I love it. Absolutely. Thank you for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, guys, that wraps up my interview with Kim Heintz. Holy smokes, people. Guys, that was a master class in Instagram marketing from someone who's killing it. We didn't get into her numbers, but I talked to her personally about it. Like, she's killing it, killing it. Her coaching programs are full. She's making great money, and she's doing it in the most simple way. Very small amount of people involved, just a virtual assistant helping her do stuff. She loves what she does. She gets to talk about her passion. She gets to serve the people that she was meant to serve with her story. And she has this marketing channel that is an Instagram account. She has an Instagram account and a website, guys, and a Zoom account to talk to people to sell her stuff. Come on. This is amazing. Listen, go back and listen to that one twice if you want to use Instagram to actually grow your business and cut out all the experts and clutters and gurus, because Kim's doing it in real life and she's making it happen. And I know what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go work on my Instagram account. Fired up about getting in there, like to go talk to people every day. Wait a minute. I get to post cool stuff and talk to humans all the time. That's my life. I love it. So make sure you're checking that out. Also, too, if you got any health problems, migraines, stuff like that she's talking about, go check her out. She's a bona fide expert in this stuff. She runs the labs for you. She does all this. She coaches people. I know a lot of people in Kim's circles. She has an incredible reputation, and I'm highly suggest you check out her Instagram account if you just want to watch it and see what she's doing and kind of model her Instagramming. And also, to check her out if you got any health problems she might be able to solve. The only health problem I've got right now is I'm tired because I've been podcasting all day. So I'm going to wrap this show up. Hey, if you're wanting to build an online business like Kim's, like mine, you want to make money online, you want to serve people in your unique skills and gifts, you want to have more time freedom, you want to make your income on the internet, head over to shanesams.com. You can check out all the cool stuff we've got going on over there. Make sure that you're subscribed to the Shane Sam Show so you can get more great content like this every single episode. And if you are subscribed and if you like what we're doing here, and if you enjoyed this podcast, stop what you're doing right now and go leave me a 5-star review, people. We got to blow up the Shane Sam Show. And don't forget, I've got another podcast. It's called Flipped Lifestyle. Go check out the Flipped Lifestyle podcast. Every week, I talk to real clients, real customers, real members of my online community, and we help them start, build, and grow an online business right there on the air. Those are live coaching calls with me, and we record those so that you can get the information you need to do that as well. So check out shanesams.com. Make sure you like and subscribe the Shane Sam Show, and you're leaving me a 5-star review. And hey, go check out my other podcast, Flipped Lifestyle. It's pretty cool too. That's all the time I've got for this week's episode, guys. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope it was worth your time. Till next time, get out there, take action, light it up, y'all. We'll see you then.